Hi guys, Gil at Camp Pet and Family Compound here with episode 3. There we go. Hi guys, Gil at Camp Pet and Family Compound here with part 3 of planning for emergencies. Alright, stick around. Hi guys, well, this is part 3 of planning for emergencies. In part 1, quick recap here, in part 1, talked about some of the basic things you're going to need. That it's something you can't do overnight. That you need to have patience. You need to have another person helping you because two minds are better than one. Write everything down. Also about using Excel spreadsheets. Once you've written down, transfer to an Excel spreadsheet so you can sort out your needs and sort out your wants by prioritizing them. Also talked about my skills and my expertise in this matter, having been the emergency management coordinator for Homeland Security, and that I've been teaching emergency preparedness and response since 1971. So now let's get on to the meat of part 3. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen 1 or 2, good idea to see them. You don't have to see them first. You can, write down this information here. You'll want to go back and review them a couple times to get all the information and to get it set and so you can use it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click that little button that says, red button that says subscribe. When it turns gray, click the little bell next to it. That way you get notifications of the next video we post. And you want to share these. You want to share them with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers. Why? Because you want them to be prepared to have their own supplies so they don't come after your supplies. All right? Good. Now let's get on with part 3 here. So part 3, we're now going to talk about training and skills you need to learn based on what your plan is and what type of emergency you want to plan for. So in this, you have to consider something. Education versus training versus skills. They are not the same thing. They are different things. And you need to have all 3. So how this works is, let me give you an example. Someone wants to be a surgeon. So he goes to school, medical school, for several years, 8 years, I guess, and gets his education to become a surgeon. Are you going to let him operate on you? I'm not. Why? He has no training. He has no skills. All he has is education, knowledge. That's it. So, someone wants to be a surgeon. After they have their college degree, they then go to a hospital and get an internship where they learn skills through training, to get trained how to do things, how to respond, stuff they don't teach out of a book. They learn bedside manner. They learn a whole lot of stuff on the job training with an experienced doctor supervising them. After several years, they have developed skills to be able to do the job on their own. Sort of like in Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts use what's called the EDGE method. Explain, demonstrate, guide, and then enable. They use a 4-step process. They explain the process they're going to do, such as sharpening a knife. They demonstrate how to do it. Then they guide the person through it. And then they enable him to go out and do it on his own with the knowledge that if he has problems, he can come back to them for a refresher. Pretty cool, huh? Well, with your skills for your emergency preparedness, for whatever emergencies you are trying to get prepared for, there's a couple factors you have to realize apply in your getting your skills. The time frame that your plan has laid out for you to get your skills, how many skills you need to learn, and how much you want to spend. So, let me pop down to the next slide here. Okay, so what type of skills is it you might want to need to learn? Remember, we went back to all those different types of events, from accidents to zombie apocalypse. Well, there's a big list too of skills, and I don't even have most of them on here. I have some of the ones that I think are important. I'm going to read some off to you, so listen carefully. And then I got a question at the end to ask you about these skills I'm going to read off to you. Ready? First aid, animal husbandry, aquaponics, archery, automotive mechanics, beekeeping, canning, carpentry, concrete working, cooking, dehydrating, electrical wiring, firearm safety, freeze drying, gardening, herbalist, horsemanship, hunting and fishing, aquaponics, ham radio, knife work, plumbing, sewing, self-defense, shooting, trapping, welding, woodworking, zombie killing. That last one is for, of course, for the all those are big into the Walking Dead and those type that genre right now. So, out of all those I listed, not counting zombie killing here, which one is out of order? Okay, you think you know? Which one of all those skills is the most important skill? Same one, first aid. First one listed. Everything was in alphabetical order, but it was listed first, because first aid is the most important skill you can learn. I can't emphasize this enough. I will try. First aid, first aid, first aid. I'm sorry if I'm annoying, but think of it this way. If you and your wife don't have first aid training, and your little girl or boy is injured and you don't know how to take care of it, how are you going to feel when that child dies? Not so annoying now that when I'm emphasizing that you need to learn first aid. In Boy Scouts, it is most often the first merit badge Scouts earn. Why? Because first aid is a prerequisite merit badge for a whole bunch of other merit badges. Life-saving, wilderness survival, emergency preparedness, and others. First aid comes first. In fact, a lot of the requirements for the first aid merit badge are covered in the requirements for tenderfoot, second class, and first class rank advancements. So, now that I've harped on first aid, what about these other skills? What skills do you need to match up to your emergency that you're planning for, whether it's earthquakes, fires, winter storm warning, economic collapse, famine, drought, whatever? What of these skills are ones that you need? Well, I'm going to go over some of these really quick for me so you see where I stand. Now remember, I've been doing emergency preparedness since 1971. I've been teaching a lot of stuff since 1971. Let's see where I stand up. First aid. Yep, I'm an instructor. Wilderness first aid. Yep. Also, I'm a first aid instructor for the CERT program as well, Community Emergency Response Teams, how to do triage and all that fun stuff. So I got that one nailed. And I'm always going to classes again just for the fun of it, because I always learn some little tidbit. Animal husbandry. Yeah, I need to learn that, especially if we're going to be raising goats and pigs and maybe some sheep and stuff. Other livestock here, I need to know animal husbandry. Aquaponics. Pretty good on that already. I used to have a big, huge koi pond hooked up through a hydroponic filter. So I was raising the koi fish and filtering the water through plants that we then harvested and ate. So aquaponics, I got that down. Archery, I've been hunting with bow since, got my first bow at 16. So it's been a long time. Auto mechanics, old school stuff, I know. Diesel equipment, dozers, excavators, that stuff, I know that good. Modern cars and stuff, I'm lost, because it's all plug and play crap now. You plug in the thing and it analyzes it and it tells you what's supposed to be wrong with it. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with handling that stuff, and some of those parts. Give me a good old-fashioned 1965 Dodge 1-ton where I can crawl in under the hood in the rain and work on the engine. I'm good on that. Beekeeping, that's a skill I really want. Don't have. I've watched some videos, so I have a little education, but I have no training and no skills in it. I have a little education. Canning, I've done that quite a bit. Carpentry, yeah. Concrete work, yeah. Cooking. My mom made me cook from the time I was 8 years old. Used to cook Sunday breakfast at 8. Dehydrating, been doing that for years. Electrical wiring. Okay, for electrical, concrete, woodworking, the carpentry, plumbing and stuff, I have a Class A General Engineering Contractor's license from California. So yeah, I know all the stuff. I've been building houses and stuff for years on the side for friends. Okay, so electrical firearm safety. Yes, I've been a firearms instructor, taught classroom and range. Freeze drying. Haven't done it yet. Read about it. Watched lots of video on it. We don't own a freeze dryer yet. So when we get one, got some people here in town who have them and use them who are willing to teach me how to do it. So I found somebody to teach me where I don't have to go to an expensive class. And I don't have to do all trial and error. Gardening, been doing that since I was a little kid. Herbalist. All I know about herbs is my wife grows basil, thyme, rosemary, and a couple others. And we dry them in the dehydrator, grind them up and use them for seasoning and spaghetti sauces and other stuff. I need to know more about herbs, become an herbalist. Horsemanship. I grew up with horses. I was 3 years old when I was riding my first horse. My dad was top 10 in the rodeo for 10 years, so yeah, I learned a lot about horses. Hunting and fishing. The last time I hunted it's been 30 years since I last shot a deer and cleaned it and took it to the butcher. Fishing, I've done a bunch of fishing, mainly stream, rainbow trout, German brown, stuff like, and bluegills. Hydroponics, I've done that. Ham radio, I'm an instructor and a general class license holder. I've taught knife work. Plumbing I've done. Sewing, my mother made us know, all the boys know how to sew from the time we were young. I've taught self-defense, self-defensive tactics for the sheriff's department. Combat shooting, I've done that. Trapping, I don't know squat about trapping other than there are things called snares. There's spring traps and something called a figure 4 rockfall. So I got a lot to learn on trapping. Welding, I'm a certified welder. And zombie killing, my youngest, who's 19 and big into zombie stuff, says I'm an awesome zombie killer because I have a couple katanas on the mantle of the fireplace, and I know how to use them very well. My daughter was in the from what I worked with her, she went to university and got in the fencing club, and so yeah, we're good on zombie killing here. So, but those are skills that we have. I have here. So you see, there are some I'm really good at, and others I need help at. There's some where I have a neighbor here that's going to teach me, and I've offered to teach some others around here skills that are not on this. I'm an operating engineer as well, so I've offered to teach some neighborhood teenagers how to run a backhoe, so they can develop that skill. Got a friend here who's going to teach me beekeeping. So there's different trade-off. I found people who teach me. I can teach others. We can help each other. What about you? What skills do you have? Write them down. These are skills I have that I'm really good at, that I'm sort of good at, that I have a little bit of knowledge at. I'm dumber than dirt at. I'll admit it. I'm dumber than dirt when it comes to beekeeping. I'm dumber than dirt when it comes. I'm really dumber than dirt when it comes to trapping. Okay, so we got next here. So, what type of skills might you need? You need to make a list of ones you have and the ones you need, and then the ones that you would like to get once you have all the ones you need learned. So, have a list of skills you're going to do. Also, look into where can you learn that skill. You have to go to a company that's going to charge you buku bucks. Can you go to the community college? How about the local high school adult education program, if your area has it? I found several ones in California where the adult education offered a better program than the high dollar ones you paid for by these companies that come in and they train you for the entire weekend, 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday, and oh good, here's your certificate. Whereas you go to adult education, you do an hour and a half or 2 hours a night on Thursdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays or something like that, and you're there for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks, 3 months. You get to know the teacher better. You get to know people in the class. You get to know the classwork better. You get to study in between sessions, and you get to come up with ideas to ask, about this? What about that? I did not see this covered in the material. Hey, I love the adult education classes. Can you get certain classes for free? There are certain places that offer classes for free. Ham radio. The Salvation Army in a lot of areas does free classes for ham radio. The only charge is what the FCC charges for the license application fee. Not bad. How long is it going to take for the class? Oh, okay, so I pay this much more and I get it done in one weekend, or it takes me 12 weeks at night school at the adult education to learn it for a lot less. Can you teach skills to others, and can you get them to teach you? So remember, you got to prioritize the skills you need, and then the skills you'd like to get after you learn the ones you really need. So use a spreadsheet for it. Excel spreadsheet is great for it. Just create another tab on your plan for it down there and title it Skills and start putting your stuff in there. All right, plans. Other plans. Other plans. Have you ever heard, oh, this ain't going too well, time to go to plan B? Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible moment. What do you do then? Plan B. Wait a minute, plan B just went south. Plan C. Basically, you don't have to come up with 400 plans, though. You have your base plan and you have some contingency plans for certain things. Because when a disaster turns you south and you need to be going north, you need to have an idea ahead of time of things that could go wrong and how you can overcome them. Simple, short plans. Your plans, excuse me, your plans are living things. What? You're saying a plan living? Yes, it's not take a block of stone, chisel it in there. Okay, the plan is set in stone. There it is. All worship the plan. No. Plans grow. They change. They need to be taken care of if they're to take care of you. Yes, plans will change. As you learn more, you realize, oh, I need to add this skill to it, and I don't need that one really. Or I do need this one, and that one added. And I still need these others though too. I need to change things around. I need to change my budgeting a little bit so that I can put more into this. I really don't need to be going out twice a week. So I can cut that. We can go out to dinner once a week and save the money and take half that money and put it into the preps and the other half splurge on something that we can make nice at home. Plans change. Your plan should be looked at often. Now, what is often? Depends on what expert you're talking to. I've seen some experts say, you need to review your plan just once a year. To that I say, as emergency management coordinator, we had something called MCOP, where we had to show that we were doing our job. And one of the requirements of MCOP for my stuff was I had to review all the plans at least once a year, all the plans at least every 6 months, a group of plans quarterly, another group monthly. And then out of those plans, some of them had to be exercised once a year. Some of them had to be exercised twice a year. Some of them had to be exercised quarterly, and some had to be exercised monthly. So to say that a plan just needs to be looked at once a year, no. So out of habit, I reviewed everything monthly. Even if it wasn't required, I looked at it again just to make sure something I learned couldn't be applied to change that plan to make it better. And that's one of the things that really kind of ticked my wife off about me is I'm always thinking something can be done to make plans better. You learn something, you hear something, get a little tidbit. Ooh, that's a great idea. One of the things I'm a firm believer in is why reinvent the wheel? If someone's done it better and it's a good job, borrow it and use it. As a point in fact, I'm going to give you another little tidbit here on reviewing things. When do you set your clocks back and set them forward for daylight savings time? Twice a year. Once forward, once back. That's a good time also to check your, change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Also a good time to take your fire extinguishers. Turn them upside down, let the powder go back and forth, make sure it's not caking up. Your dryer vent. Good time to clean out the lint line, the tube going outside. The lint trap you should be doing every single time you do a load of laundry. You should be cleaning the lint trap. So, plans. You can review your plans twice a month. Some parts of the plans you need to review every time you do something, just like the lint trap on the laundry. Remember, this plan is to take care of you, so you need to take care of it. Sounds kind of complicated, doesn't it? That's going to be a lot of work. Take it one step at a time. Don't try to do it all at once. I had one person in the class goes, "Oh man, I'm not even sure this is worth it. It's like there's so much work to do. Nothing's happened here for the stuff I want to prepare for years and years." And I lost it and I started laughing at him. I said, "Do you remember what happened last year in Santa Rosa?" He goes, "Yeah, the big fire up there." You know when the last time they had a big fire up there in Sonoma and Napa County in that area? 50 years ago. If they had your attitude, even more people would have been in bad shape. A lot of people up there did have your attitude. They say, "Oh, nothing's happened here in 50 years. We don't need to worry about mowing these fire breaks all around our property and stuff like that." They lost everything. People that went out and mowed the fire breaks, mowed them extra wide because they were worried because it hadn't burnt in 50 years, their places survived. Real life experiences, folks. Okay, now your plan does not have to be a singular plan. I'm not talking about plan B, plan C, and plan D backup plans. Back in video 1, I talked about having a base plan and then the tactical response plans that built off of it. Yeah, you need to have your base plan, which has all your basic needs. Remember your 4 basic needs: water, food, shelter, clothing. Then you build upon that for whatever disaster or emergency you're looking at, whether it's a electromagnetic pulse or a NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical event, or whether it's a flood or a severe winter storm or a severe summer heat, as way above normal. Whatever you're going to plan for as in your plans gets built off of the base plan. That way you're not buying. If you got multiple little plans, and you should have multiple plans, because I'm not sure you're not just concerned about one thing and one thing only. Because I like for DHS, I designed the base plan, and I did over 40 tactical response plans built off of that for fires, floods, power outages, water line breakage, pandemics, infectious disease spread, vehicular hijacking, a bus hijacking, rail hijacking, airplane hijacking, IEDs in a public location, IEDs at a government building. Like I said, I did over 40 tactical response plans. Now, my plans, I did not have to include buying supplies for the basic needs, everything that was covered in the base plan for each one of these tactical response plans, because it was already covered. The only thing we had to do was plans for specific things. For the infectious disease, what did we buy for that? We stocked up on 6 mil gloves and N95 respirator masks, and some for worst case we had Tyvek suits. But we stocked up stuff for that. That stuff would not be needed for a winter storm. It would not be needed for a flash flood. So, but they both, or all 3 of those, had basic needs covered in the base plan for food, water, and such. That was covered there. So when you do up your plan, do your base plan, your basic needs as your first bubble. And then you can build on it for little bubbles here, little bubbles there off of it, whatever you need to, however you want to describe it. So you build off as you are concerned about different events, tackle them one at a time. Also, in an Excel spreadsheet, put all of the supplies you're buying for each of those events, so you don't double stock up on stuff you don't need to. And that way you can save money to buy for other things. All right, And finally, keep an open mind. Things change. In 41 years, a lot of things have changed from when I first started doing emergency preparedness to now. Even a big organization like the Los Angeles Fire Department changed some of the basic stuff they were teaching back in the late 60s. They used to say they'd have open houses at the firehouses. People would come in and they would have little barbecues and have little training classes going on all around. One of the things they taught was how to make a home fire extinguisher. You get like a yeast can or a coffee can about that big around and about that tall, and you get two of the plastic pop lids on it. And so once it was empty, you would take a 16 penny nail and punch holes in the bottom of the metal bottom, put one of the plastic caps on it, fill it full of baking soda, then put a plastic cap on top, and you keep it near the stove. You have a grease fire in a frying pan or whatever, you could grab that, pull it off the bottom where all the little holes are, and shake it over there to smother the fire. And if that didn't work, then you could take it off the big one and shake a lot on and put it out. Well, they changed that, and they no longer advocate that because some dee-dee-dees decided, oh, pull it off, dump it all at once really hard, and splash the grease everywhere. So to cover themselves, because there are DTDs out there, they said, all right, no, we're no longer teaching that. We're no longer authorizing that. Things change. Camping gear. A lot of changes in camping gear. Hey, camping gear is, in most parts, can be considered as emergency preparedness gear. Think about it. Hey, your house catches on fire and partially burns down. You need to sleep. Hey, go camping in the backyard. You need to bug out to get out of Dodge because riots are getting bad. Grab your camping gear and go. Consider that camping gear as part of your emergency plan. Alrighty, so that kind of wraps it up now. If you have any questions, fire off an email to me. Don't forget, I have a lot of stuff on the Asset Center website for under free documents and emergency preparedness fair. Where is it here? Yeah. If you go on the Asset Center homepage, it says preparedness fair handouts. There's a lot of stuff in there for you to download for free. All the documents in there are for free. On there, anything you can download from there, you can download for free. There's also a list of recommended websites and also recommended YouTube videos on information because, hey, there are others besides me that put out some really good content. So, do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Click that red button. Click the little bell so you get notifications. And most importantly, share this with family, friends, neighbors, co-workers. Why? You want them to be prepared to have their own supplies so they don't come after your supplies because you didn't tell them to get prepared. All right? So get prepared, be safe, and take it easy. All righty.